How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Timeless Movie Podcast, episode number 150. Sounds pretty crazy to say, 150 episodes. I've talked about, 150 movies. Maybe not all of the episodes have been about new movies. Some of them have been about like top 10s and things of that nature. But for anybody that has listened to any of the prior episodes, thank you for joining us and listening to all of the nonsense that I talk about or some of the guests that I bring on, like my brother. But for anybody that's new, welcome to episode 150, I guess. All we do is talk about movies here, talk about why we like them, why we don't like them, and if we can consider them timeless. Is it something that we would rewatch in the future? Little housekeeping before we start jumping into this week's movie. Timeless Movie Podcast is available on platforms like Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. Give us a listen, follow, subscribe, leave a comment, interact with us. If you want to email us any questions, there's an email here, timelessmoviepod@gmail.com. But again, let us know any kind of questions, thoughts, anything that you're thinking about in regards to movies. Happy to bring that up on the podcast. Speaking of movies, episode 149 of the Timeless Movie Podcast is available on those platforms that I mentioned. I ended up going solo and talking about the movie by Darren Aronofsky called Caught Stealing. I thought that movie was a lot of fun. A lot of different twists and turns. I enjoyed it. But if you want to know if it was rewatchable, if you want to know if it was timeless, go check out episode 149. All right. Enough housekeeping. Don't want to spend too much time on this because I got somebody to introduce. Every 5 episodes, you know this guy. He's going to be joining us. He is the man. He is my brother. He is Mr. Every 5, Omar Vasquez. Omar, how's it going, man?
It's going good.
How'd you like that intro?
I think it's getting better every time.
Well, just because of that comment, I'm going to keep adding more stuff to make you, start thinking about these nicknames that I want to call you and stuff like that. So don't get too excited.
You realize I have the power here. I can decide not to come out anymore.
That's true.
So you better treat me nice, man. You better treat me like a special guest.
You are a special guest, man, because we're talking about a special movie today, man. We're going to be talking about The Long Walk. Mr. Rome, contender for one of the best trailers of 2025?
No.
No? I thought it was pretty good. I thought this trailer gives you exactly what you need to know. What the hell are these kids going through and what they're probably going to be dealing with? It hooked me immediately.
Yeah, it did, because the premise is good.
Yeah.
But the trailer itself?
You're like, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens at the end of the year when we decide what trailer was the best for each one of ours. Maybe this one makes our top trailers. Mr. Rome, like I mentioned multiple times already, we're going to be talking about different, aspects of this movie, The Long Walk. Again, I thought the trailer was really cool. Let's go ahead and now, let's not spend too much time on it. Let's start diving into our non-spoiler thoughts. Before I do that, Mr. Rome, I did want to say that me and Omar actually got to see this movie early. We got to go to a little bit of an advanced screening. Mr. Rome, can you tell us just very high level, what did you think about that experience, going to an advanced screening of a movie before it comes out to the general public?
Well, I hate it, but the truth is, it was cool. It was cool to see that.
Yeah.
But my stance on movies is I want to represent the general public.
I like that.
I want to experience a movie with the general audience, not with a bunch of pretentious film reviewers.
Lay it on them, Mr. Rome.
Like you.
I want to be the film critic, I guess, is in this situation,
I
liked it.
It's a little too much show because there's a host in the beginning and they introduce the movie and there's cameras and people taking pictures. It's a little too much show for me. I want to get to the theater. The theater is a leisure experience, right?
You don't want it to be an event.
It's not an event. It should be something you know what? We're free this afternoon. Let's go watch a movie. Yeah. Something cool like that. Yeah. Not a spectacle. But you liked it?
I liked it, yeah. I like the spectacle. That's what that's what we're both very different like that. But yeah, I just wanted to call that out. I thought that was a really fun thing that Omar noted. But we went to go watch this one a little bit early. And so let's dive right in, Mr. Rome. Non-spoiler thoughts. The Long Walk is a actual novel by Stephen King. It has now been adapted into a movie. The director, Mr. Rome, is Francis Lawrence. Mr. Rome, do you know what other movies you've seen of Francis Lawrence?
Which ones?
The Hunger Games.
What?
He's directed Hunger Games Catching Fire and then Mockingjay Part 1 and Part 2. He's also made movies like I Am Legend, Red Sparrow, and a bunch of music videos as well. I wanted to call that out specifically for the music videos because of something that I want to touch on later when we talk a little bit about how this movie kind of looks. But just wanted to call that out, that he did make the final 3 Hunger Game films. He didn't make the first one. This film also stars actors Cooper Hoffman, David Jonsson, Ben Wang, Mark Hamill, and Judy Greer. Very simple tagline for this movie. And I'll just try to go through this very quickly since I do ramble multiple different times. Really, the gist of this movie is there are teenagers or kids that are kind of like young adults. They participate in a contest. This contest is basically who can walk the farthest. There is no finish line. And essentially what they are walking for is for a prize money of $10 million and to make one wish. And that wish can be anything that they want. The crazy part about this is that this contest, if you do not keep a pace of 3 miles an hour, there are military individuals that are basically waiting right there at gunpoint, ready to take you out. And so essentially, if you don't keep walking, you will die, which is, again, the great tagline on the poster and the trailer. It's either walk or die in this competition. That's essentially what this story is about.
You should have just said walk or die.
Yeah. I wanted to add a little bit more color to that than just that.
Okay.
You know? But that's essentially what the film is about. Mr. Ohm, we have not talked about this like every other movie review we've done together. I will kick this off. I thought this movie was freaking gripping, man. The story was... I was just so enticed by everything that was going on, the interactions, all the players in this whole story. I was very surprised at how intense some of the moments got, but I don't know. I love it when a movie can kind of make me start thinking, okay, what's the end game, right? Like who is going to win of all of these participants? How are they going to win? Is there really a true happy ending for anybody that wins this kind of a contest? And I love it when movies can kind of do that piece of it, of like just making me start thinking about a little bit of what the end is going to be and will I be able to figure it out? And sometimes it's more fun when you don't figure it out, but it's still satisfying. And so overall, I had a really like great time watching this movie. I wouldn't say it's fun to watch it, if that makes sense. And I'll dive into a little bit why I say that later. But Mr. Rome, any different thoughts about The Long Walk?
Yeah, I mean, I really liked it. It's like the premise is like, it's one of those things where it's like almost like so good or like so simple that it's like, how come nobody else has thought about doing this before? Mm-hmm. And sometimes like when there's like a movie that where it's sold on its premise, mm-hmm. where like it's gonna get people in the theater because it's like the premise is like, oh, that's pretty crazy. Like, I wonder what's gonna happen. Like the last movie that I could think of is like the Woman in the Yard. That's like the premise is that's it. There's a woman in the yard.
Weapons. Kids go missing in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And you're like, all of them and from one class. How? Why?
But I feel like Weapons. I feel like even before going into that, there's more of a story. What I was getting at is like these movies I feel like don't have good stories. When it's a simple premise, because it's just banking on the fact that the premise is interesting, and they don't have anything to back it up. Kind of like the Women in the Yard. We didn't actually watch it, but I kind of figured that the movie wasn't going to be that good.
It didn't get reviewed that well either,
because it just had an interesting idea, and there's nothing more than that.
Yeah,
I thought that's what this movie was going to be. Just a really good idea, interesting premise, but nothing really backing up the premise,
no depth to it.
Yeah, no well written story.
Yeah,
but it was good.
Nice.
Although I do have the little nitpicks.
Yeah,
but I guess we get to that later.
Yeah,
but overall, I thought the movie. You say it wasn't fun. I mean, it's not.
I don't know if I'm using it. Like, I'm not gonna say that the movie there's fun moments between characters or things that are funny.
But for some reason, my overall feeling is that it was a good time. Like, I had a good time watching this movie.
Yeah.
Even though it was like depressing and stuff. But for some reason, I had a good time watching the movie. Maybe because my expectations were maybe because it exceeded my expectations. That's why I had a good time.
Because you were going with like, okay, this premise like couldn't
Yeah,
exceed what I've already thought.
Yeah, because like I thought going into it, it's like walk or die. I thought it was gonna get boring after like a few. I thought they were like they're gonna run out of ideas, and they kind of just pad it out. Because like the premise is just walk or die. How much more could you add? But yeah, it was cool.
Nice. Mr. Rome, you kind of called out one of the things, and I think this is a good opportunity for like us to segue into the pros and cons. Again, very high level. We don't have to go into too much detail until we get to like the spoiler section. But you mentioned like how the ideas, like were they gonna run out of ideas? Were they gonna like what else could you add to it? That was actually one of my pros. Is that I thought it was pretty clever that they added the different components of this competition that like I was thinking about. It was like, what if somebody like gets sick? What if somebody ends up like messing up an ankle? What if somebody cramps up? What if you have to go to the restroom because you have diarrhea? Like, I thought that was super interesting that they added those elements, because that's what you would think sometimes when you're in a competition where you have no other choice but to keep walking. And if you stop walking to go to the restroom, stop walking to tie your shoes, you're done. You're shot on the spot. And so I thought it was really clever. I like that component of answering some of the questions that at least I had in my head. And I'm assuming that most of the audience will think about those kind of things of like, oh, or maybe even better. Maybe they don't even think about those kind of things. And I'm like, oh, it adds another component to like how tough this challenge would be. When most people think like, oh, all you're doing is walking. Like, no, there's other things that you need to really consider, other factors. Mr. Omar, I'll popcorn it over to you. Any other pros that you have on your mind that you really enjoyed about it?
Like the costume was really cool. Cause like, I'm guessing this is kind of like an alternate reality. It's not this. We're not living in this. It's not based on this world.
Yeah.
It's like there's a fictional war that they fought.
Mm-hmm.
So the point of the walk or die is really similar to Hunger Games. It's like to promote. It's like a propaganda to promote like pride in your country, and so this is like it kind of gave like Great Depression vibes, just based on the clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was kind of dressed like in plain neutral colors, but the character David Jonsson's character, he looked cool, man. Mm-hmm. Like the characters that were supposed to look cool looked cool. The ones that were supposed to look like
raggedy and
like losers looked like losers. Like I thought the costume was really cool.
Speaking on one of the points about the Hunger Games, I actually wrote that down too, is that I would almost sell this as like a modern Hunger Games, or more like grounded Hunger Games.
I would say less fantasy.
Yeah, less sci-fi, because there's like sci-fi elements in the Hunger Games, right? Like of things that you start seeing as the series goes on. This is just simple, like no weapons, no nothing. All you're doing is walking.
It's the poor man's Hunger Games.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. I dig that. Mr. Rome, you called out David Jonsson. He was one of like the cool characters in there. One of my pros, the chemistry between David Jonsson, Cooper Hoffman, Bang Wan, all those characters. That I think is what, again, those are the fun moments I guess that I could pull out of this movie, is just them interacting. Not only because it's fun to kind of see them all kind of get to know each other, but you start seeing like how each character is and how different they all are. You start seeing a little bit more about their backgrounds, or understanding like why they are the way they are maybe. So that to me was probably one of the biggest positives, is that combination of these characters just getting to know each other. And even though they are competitors, they still found ways to kind of help and support each other along the way. And so that to me was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, I feel like you called it out before. Like this is one of those movies where like they bunch up a bunch of like young actors, and you already know they're gonna have chemistry. Like you can kind of see it even in the trailer, and so that was the fun part. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it. Mr. Rome, apart from costuming, anything else pro related that you really enjoyed about The Long Walk?
I mean, you're gonna mention something about the director, how he was directing music videos.
Yeah.
I was gonna call out the shots. Are you gonna
talk
about that?
That was my last one. Yeah. Well, kind of similar to that, but go ahead, go first.
No, I was just gonna call it that.
Okay, I was gonna say that. Well, mine was more in regards to how cool the shots looked, because I really liked that the whole movie was outdoors.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
It's such a change of pace, because a lot of the movies that we watch, I mean, we watch Caught Stealing and we watch like Honey Don't, and those do take place outdoors, but a lot of scenes and a lot of movies are always indoors, in a set, in a building, this one is literally 95% of the movie is outdoors, them just walking around. And so I think it allowed for them
natural lighting.
Yeah, exactly. And so it allowed for a lot of really cool camera shots whenever they were like looking at the characters from far away in the night, when they were up close and personal to them. Like I don't know, just it opens up a lot more opportunities to make this movie stand out from everything that we've seen so far this year. So,
and like something that I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it's just like a byproduct of the movie where they're walking, and after seeing them walk for so long, some shots where they're walking almost they look hypnotic because their body, somebody's natural walking form is like kind of bounces up and down. And there's like long scenes where they're just walking and talking, but their bodies are like bouncing up and down. And it was a weird effect, which I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I think it makes the movie like a lot more unique. Cause it's like you're getting this like even like it's like hypnotic feeling, like just watching them walk. It was a weird, I don't know, it was a weird experience. But yeah, I don't know if that's intentional or not.
That kind of feed into why like I was bringing up Francis Lawrence being like also making music videos of like, I feel like in music videos you're like capturing these like very weird experiences that like obviously you won't see in real life, but like the fact that like sometimes you have to capture so many things that are going on in a music video on screen, like following choreography, I feel like that was kind of similar. Like you're following the choreography of people walking, and you would think that that's such a like a boring thing to capture, but like Omar mentioned right now, you're kind of in a rhythm. You're like following them in a specific way. And like, I thought it was really cool how they just like, they're walking towards us in the camera. And I'm like waiting for like, well, how is that captured? Like, is there just a guy holding the camera and just trying to walk at that same type of rhythm as them? And it all just felt like Omar said, hypnotic in a way of like, you're just like caught in that moment of like, yeah, am I walking with them? And I thought they captured it really well. So that was like my piece about Francis Lawrence. And like, I'm feeling like he's used a lot of that experience with the music videos to capture a lot of those walking and in motion scenes that, I don't know, it just felt really cool to see as you're looking through the movie. Mr. Rome, any other pros on your side?
Nah, I mean, can't think of anything else.
Okay. Any cons? I think you mentioned that was something that you had to nitpick on. Feel free. The floor is yours, my friend.
Well, like, it's kind of just like I guess this is like a personal thing where, like explaining earlier, like the premise is like so simple, but for me, I feel like towards the end, it kind of did become a little too repetitive, especially like the last two deaths. They kind of just seem like they're going with the formula. Maybe I was partly expecting it to get a little crazier. Like I feel like when there's like a movie with a simple premise, I feel like sometimes it starts off with that premise, but then it kind of towards the end it like divulges into like something like chaotic.
Yeah,
I was kind of expecting that with this movie. Like I didn't think they're actually gonna walk until there's only one, and that's how the movie was gonna end.
Yeah.
So like somewhere after like when he sees his mom, that just seemed like I feel like they should have done something else, or like I feel like this is me pretending like if I'm like a screenwriter.
Yeah.
Because I'm not. But like I started thinking like, what would I do to make this a little more interesting to me? I think I would make it like I would try to, I don't know, something crazier. Like this is a fictional story. You could go as crazy as you want. Like you don't have to stay within the lines of like reality, you know? So like I would introduce like maybe like hallucination scene to like change the setting at least, or like because it started to feel a little too
repetitive.
I feel like they didn't stray from the idea enough. I feel like they stuck too close to the walking part.
Yeah.
I feel like it should have done something a little more crazy.
I actually think that's pretty fair though. Like especially the opportunity that when they're walking at night and you're starting to see like Ray, who's played by Cooper Hoffman, you start seeing him kind of like doze off. I think those are really great opportunities to have these types of moments where like you start blending like his dream with like a reality, and like you don't know like what the hell's going on. That could have been another way of like how they could have like maybe amped it up, and like, hey, he's been walking for 4 or 5 straight days. You have to anticipate that he's going to be going crazy at some point. And so
but what do you think though? Like you're kind of just like siding with me to make me feel better.
No. I was saying that like that. At least that criticism is fair.
No, but like, how do you feel about the movie? Like, do you feel like you were fulfilled or like satisfied, or do you feel like there's something more? Like they needed something more.
I would say that like I wanted the ending to be more. I was okay with like everything leading up to like what was going on. I just felt like after the movie ended, I feel like the ending could have been like a lot more. I don't know. Like I was hoping that there would be something where like there would be some type of a plan between the people that were competing. We could talk more about it in the spoilers, but I kind of felt like there should have been more of like I thought there was going to be more of a rebellion in some kind of a way.
Yeah,
That's kind of what I would have liked as like the amp to increase this to a whole nother level. But that didn't happen.
That's kind of what I'm going at.
Yeah.
There was something missing.
Yeah.
Because it was literally. Oh, I guess we could talk about it later.
Yeah. Let's put a pin on that, and then we'll kind of go into it. So I guess the last thing that we'll talk about is, Mr. Home. Those have been the pros and cons. Would you recommend somebody to go watch this in the theaters? Would you maybe ask them wait for streaming or skip it?
I think this is both enjoyable at theaters and streaming.
Got it.
You see, because this kind of feels like to me, it kind of feels like a streaming movie.
Oh.
Because it's like, again, it's like so simple that you like, you know how you mentioned before, like outside this podcast, where like movies they make for Netflix, they make them with the idea of, oh, people are gonna be distracted. People are gonna be looking at their phones. This one, it kind of feels like that because like they're just walking, you know. So like you could be on your phone a little bit.
Yeah.
I would say, but it was still enjoyable. Yeah. So I would say theater.
Got it. I'm going to say also that I think that people should definitely watch this movie, and I would recommend watching in theaters just to, again, kind of be immersed and feel like you're kind of walking with this crew of individuals and participants. I will say, though, Mr. Ohm, that I did find this one pretty intense, and so my recommendation would be, like, check it out in theaters, but if you're not into, like, graphic moments or some gross things that you might see in this movie, if you're not cool with, like, seeing things like that, it's a bit graphic. Would you agree? Graphic in like some of the deaths, graphic in like what happens to some of these participants. Not to an extent of like, whoa, like you're gonna look away, but more of like, whoa, like I wasn't expecting that kind of thing.
I think people have seen worse. You'll be all right, everybody. You're kind of setting this up like if it's like a. I mean, I feel like there were graphic scenes, but I think it's for the story.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely.
It's to show how serious this is.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
You know,
am I doing it like at Long Legs? Remember when we were watching Long Legs? You're like, this is gonna be the scariest movie you're gonna see. You're gonna have nightmares after this. And I almost bought in. Almost.
You also same with Bring Her Back.
Oh yeah.
There was one reviewer. You said one reviewer almost threw up.
Almost threw up.
You almost didn't want to watch the movie.
Almost didn't watch it. But guys, check out that podcast, that review. I didn't throw up. I was all good to go after that. But all right, Mr. Rome, that is all the non-spoiler thoughts. Guys, hopefully that gave you a good indication as to whether you should check this movie out or maybe we should wait for it as well. Now we jump into the spoiler section of the Timeless Movie Podcast. So if you have not seen The Long Walk, please jump out of the video now, watch the movie, then come back on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Give us a listen, and then leave us a comment. Let me know if you agree or disagree with some of the thoughts that me and Omar brought up as well. Okay, let us now jump in to the spoiler section. Mr. Rome, let's start spoiling stuff like crazy. We can jump around wherever you want, but we always have to start here with the most important question.
Yeah.
The origination of this podcast. Is The Long Walk timeless? Is this something that you can rewatch in the future, various different times? Mr. Rome, you are the guest. What is your answer to that question?
You know, this is really hard because I've been flip-flopping, you know? But I'll say no.
Okay.
Not timeless.
Not timeless. I think I actually had this answer pretty quick. I was actually surprised. I usually am the flip-flopper between me and Omar, I feel like. Mr. Rome, I think that this movie, I enjoyed it so much, but I don't think it's timeless.
What?
And let me start. Can I start this one, even though you're the guest?
Yeah.
I'll start with my reasoning, and then I want to hear yours. I kind of have a feeling of yours, though. But, Mr. Rome, I think that this movie is not timeless, and I think it has to do with the way that it made me feel of a certain type of movie that I also don't think is timeless. Let me explain.
Hunger Games?
No, I like the Hunger Games.
Is Hunger Games timeless to you?
Maybe the first one.
Yeah.
Actually, the one
Mockingjay
where
Part 2 is cool too.
yeah. No, but kind of getting back to the long walk, Mr. Rome, this film is a metaphor for war, right? You have a band of individuals, of brothers, I guess, who volunteer or are drafted to something that they maybe don't want to do. They experience traumas. They are told to do things that they, again, don't really want to. They are governed by this military that's always surrounding them. And then you're seeing them go through these crazy conditions. They literally have dog tags and numbers. And so as I was watching the movie, I maybe thought it was obvious, or I thought it was maybe obvious to the audience. And I think you started alluding to it as well, like of how this feels kind of like a Great Depression type of movie. This made me feel like a war movie where you're seeing these people like do all these things. And then even at the end, Mr. Rome, it almost feels like the city is coming to celebrate them like people would celebrate veterans that are coming back from a war. And you notice that the veteran is the only one that's not happy. They're the ones that have experienced such atrocities. And yet everybody around them is like cheering, having a great time because they won this prize. And so long-winded, I know, but because this movie makes me feel like it's about war and about something like that, so dark and like dread, no hope, that's why I don't think it's timeless. Because a lot of war movies for me, I enjoy watching them, but I don't want to continuously watch them every single time because it just makes me feel like that. Like man, there is no hope. You know what's going to happen towards the end. And although there's great relationships and there's great chemistry between the friends that they end up making along this walk, it just reminds me of like, damn, just feels like a moment where like people are like have no other choice and there's no winning.
Right.
What do you feel about all that? I know I threw out a lot of that, but that's kind of what I got from the movie. Right when it was over, I was like, yeah, this just feels like a war movie. And like, although it was great watching it, I had fun. I would recommend it. I don't think I would watch it again.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. So you have no war movie is timeless to you?
That's what I started thinking before. I mean, Dunkirk, I enjoyed that one, but that's actually on the bottom of my Christopher Nolan list. Like, it's a movie that I'm like, I don't really, it's not something that I come back to.
Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan is like probably maybe one of the rare ones. Fury or Inglourious Bastards. Like, I don't know. All these movies are like things that I enjoy in the moment, but they're rarely ones that I ever like, oh yeah, I want to, let me watch this war one. Let me watch this. And like, those are typically that genre is like something that but I'm always so fascinated because I've told you this outside of the podcast. I'm so fascinated that during this period in U.S. history, obviously, you have a war, and yet there's so much content. There's so much movies. There's so many shows that are based off of this war. And like, it's so crazy to me, but it makes sense, right? It's a global thing. But yeah, to me, it's a genre that like I enjoy watching, but it's never something that I'm like so fascinated that like, I got to see that again.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I guess I expect that to be a reason.
Really?
Yeah, for it not to be timeless. That's crazy. I was really close to calling it timeless.
Yeah.
Because I love the ending.
Oh.
You want to talk about the ending?
Yes. Yeah.
Because like I still understand like the true meaning of the ending.
Yeah.
Or I don't even understand how I feel about the ending. I feel like that might be one of my favorite endings of any movie.
Ooh.
Maybe this year.
Yeah.
Where it's like usually I feel like I know like using my own like moral judgment, I know like if I agree with what the character did in the ending or not of a movie. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like I know what the right decision would be. I can't. I feel like I don't know what the right decision is for the ending of this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what David Jonsson's character. I don't know what he did, if that was right or wrong.
Yeah.
What do you think? Because like everywhere, like he was talking about how like he because Raymond, we're in the spoiler section, right?
Yep.
So everybody knows like Raymond wants, his wish is to kill the general. Mm-hmm. And Peter he was trying to convince him not to do it. Mm-hmm. And he was like saying like, dude, like don't choose vengeance, like choose love, choose peace. And that's a motivation that we've heard in other stories, mm-hmm. like Batman.
Yeah.
We hear that in Batman all the time. Like Batman doesn't kill because like once he kills, it becomes that just as bad as that person. So I always agree. Like in the moment, I agreed with Peter. Like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't, but I do want the general to die.
Yeah.
Especially at the very end, once he kills Raymond, it's like Peter has to make a wish now, and the wish feels meaningless. What are you gonna wish? Before he said he wanted to wish for like.
I think it was to have two winners.
Two winners, or he also mentioned like an orphanage because there are other kids that grew up without parents like himself. But that feels like in that moment, how are you gonna wish for that once you just saw your best friend die?
Yeah.
And then so when he chooses to wish for a gun, it's like you're kind of rooting for that.
Yeah.
But you also know like that's not what he wanted in the beginning. So what's the right decision? Because like his opinion changed, but is his opinion right?
I think it is right, because I think his
opinion in the beginning or at the end.
Both. I think his opinion the whole way of like, yeah, like you're not gonna get anywhere if you kill, because they're just gonna replace the general with somebody else, and this whole competition is gonna keep going. But I think what he decided to do at the end of just shooting Mark Hamill's character, I think was still right, because in that way he was still honoring his friend, honoring Ray.
But like then we come to the moral aspect of it, where it's like killing somebody like over vengeance. What does that really achieve? It's like a moral dilemma. Do you act on vengeance, which is going to give you instant satisfaction, but it's gonna leave eventually?
Yeah.
Or do you like swallow all that anger? And then wish for something that could benefit more people.
Yeah.
Or will killing the general benefit more people because people see him dying?
Yeah.
Which is what Raymond thought. He thought killing the general was going to change things.
Which
you never know.
You never know, right?
So like, what's the right decision? Anyway, that's what made me almost make it timeless, because I like an ending that's open to interpretation.
Yeah.
I could feel one way now, and I could watch it in 2 years and feel a different way about the ending. Maybe I agree with him more. Maybe I agree with him less. That almost made it timeless for me.
Nice.
That was like, I really, really liked the ending.
I like that. I mean, when I saw the ending like that and I saw him kill him like that, to me it was like understandable like that, because I feel like if you were to go through again this traumatic experience where you're building this relationship with the guy that you didn't know at the beginning, and you're starting to kind of get to know like what they want to do, what they're all about, and then seeing him like obviously like get taken out, and he like let himself, it seemed like he just kind of like Ray gave up and like let Pete win. And so I don't know, like I feel like he was doing it to honor Ray.
But then let's say Ray, why did Ray stop? Is it because he thought Peter was going to use the wish better than he did? Maybe he's like, man, Peter has a good heart. He's going to use the wish on something good. But then Peter goes and kills the general, which is what Ray was going to do. So it's like, what's the right decision?
That's a great call. Actually, I didn't pick that up. I didn't think about if Ray was doing it because he then gave in and said, well, why am I going to waste my wish on something that really won't change anything? At least Pete is going to have something that will impact where two people can now survive and enjoy,
or whatever his wish was going to be.
Yeah.
Because like, I think the movie is also trying to show us that, like, who you think was deserving most of the win.
Oh man.
Because I thought it was Peter.
Yeah, I mean, Pete was the heart and soul of the movie. And
he also, like, even when you think about the details of the movie, he never almost lost. He never wavered. His personality was never down. He saved Ray. Ray was gonna die if it wasn't for Peter. He was like dozing off in that one night. So yeah, that he was like, basically, you said it. He was like the soul, not even the movie, but the story in the universe. I feel like the movie is trying to tell us that Peter was the one who deserved the win, which I think Ray also saw, which is why he let Peter win. But then Peter goes and shoots the general. You know, that's why I like the ending, because it's like, damn, what's the did he make the right call? Yeah. And that's it, and it's crazy too, because like how you described it about, like, Pete had like his own opinion and his own thoughts of like, hey, like you can't go down this path, right? Like you're just gonna, it's just a waste basically if you end up killing the general. But again, like, to me, it
it validated for me, because knowing that like, okay, I'm doing this not for me now. I'm doing this for Ray. And so he taking it out, hoping that would change. But I get what you're saying. Like, was that the best choice? But what do you do when you just lost your friend right in front of you?
That's why I like the ending, because it makes you question, like it makes you ask like questions to yourself. Like,
yeah, what would you do?
Or like, why is that Peter acted on his anger, but that felt good, and that felt good as a viewer too.
Yeah.
Why is vengeance feel good?
Mm-hmm.
And is that right? It's like a philosophical dilemma, which is cool. And I wanted to make this movie timeless, but it's just, I feel like just like something was missing. I feel like it needed a little more something towards the end to kind of change it up, because they really just walked until they died. You know?
Yeah. Well, this kind of feeds into what I was mentioning a little bit earlier about what I felt was kind of also just like a little piece that I would have wanted to see. Not that it was missing, but when they started bringing up about the general not staying up with them, and he goes to sleep at 7 or he after dinner or something like that. When they started bringing that up, I thought, okay, there's going to be a plan that's made by the remaining people like that. Like the really the core participants that have a chance to win. And I thought they were going to group up and find a way to like manipulate like the contest in order to get the general, or like, you know, when he's not around, to just get around it like that. And they never did that. And so that's kind of what I was missing. I was like, or not missing again, but more so what I would have loved to see is, could there have been a way like that for them to kind of escape or get a loophole around it to then like have it where they corner the general now, and now they force him into either ending this or coming up with a different solution that just not stops it from having to just be all these different kills. That's I think what I was hoping for, like a twist in that way of, okay, can they really get around this military? Can they get around this like type of a situation where they're just being watched every single second of the day?
I mean, I still would have wanted the people to die. I was happy with that. Like, there should have been only one winner.
Yeah.
But I do agree there should have been something else.
Yeah.
Like, maybe they do try to find a way to like get to the general, but then they still end up
failing.
Like that would, at least that would add something more.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anything else?
What do you think about David Jonsson, Cooper Hoffman? Probably one of the best, almost like best relationship between two friends, brothers this entire year. I mean, other things I can think of is like Smoke and Stack from Sinners. They're
I feel like that's gonna win. But dude, then that's the same person. That's kind of weird, though.
I know, right? So, but I mean, I don't know, dude. Them two, like right from the get-go, that chemistry was just, man, it was working so well, man. They both didn't know each other like that, and yet they were like helping each other out, walking with each other, like helping each other sleep whenever they would like walk together in the night, and like, dude, it was such a great bond. And again, David Jonsson, again, last year, Mr. Rome, he had my favorite like sibling relationship in Alien Romulus. And he does it again. He pulls off this like really relatable kind of guy where all you do is want to root for him. Like just you don't want him to get taken out. And so
he's really good, dude. He's really good because his character. I've only seen him in this movie and Alien Romulus, and they're like you can't even tell it's the same person.
Yeah,
they act so different. He's really good.
Yeah, man. It was incredible. Other thing that I had here, Mr. Rome, just to like obviously not end on like a negative that we didn't think the movie was timeless, but
that's all right, man. Hey, the movie kind of ended in that kind of negative way.
Yeah.
So this podcast should also end like that.
Well, I'm not gonna allow that.
Yeah.
And so,
what you want? It's gonna be a happy ending.
Happy ending. You know, by calling out a couple of the things that I really liked about the movie.
Okay.
Mr. Rome, I
More
thought the movie
things?
was. Yeah, I thought the movie was
I thought we
hilarious.
already did pros.
Yeah, but I want to ask a couple of other things like that.
More pros?
Yeah, more, not pros, but more so of things that like, you know, I just really enjoyed.
These are pros.
Positives.
Okay.
Mr. Rome, I thought the movie was funny.
Yeah.
Again, I think they picked their moments really well in regards to who were those funny characters. Like Ben Wong, who played Hank, like was always like saying some like funny different lines, like what he would do with his wish and like all this different stuff. Like, I don't know. I thought the movie like just picked its moments, especially with how much tension there was. I felt like every time they had something funny it was like perfect. Like it was never out of place, I guess is what I want to say. But I don't know. Any other thoughts on how funny the movie was?
I actually didn't find it that funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I thought it was more fun than funny. Like those moments when they're all like having fun,
like just teasing each other like that, making fun of each other.
I still felt like like Weapons was funnier than this movie.
Really?
Yeah, I laughed more at like Weapons.
But I did find a lot of the moments funny. Like, I don't know if you remember when there's one kid like was this with glasses try to come and join their pack, and then they're like, I was like, no man, you're not invited to this.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that made me laugh. I was like, or when they're like walking and they start cussing at Mark Hamill's character, and then they're like, you think that something's gonna go wrong because they're like talking back to him, and he goes, "That's the spirit, boys," and there's like just stuff like that. Like that made me laugh, like to kind of like, relieve a little bit of like all of like the anxiety of like what the hell is gonna happen in this story.
Yeah.
Last thing for me, Mr. Holm, cinematography. I think we talked about it a little bit before, but I just wanted to call out that I really dug when like there would be these shots of when they're looking at the kids far away. Like those are my favorite shots of like when it was kind of dark at night and they were like really far away and you're just seeing them walk. And again, the outdoors, the feeling of like the how hot it must have been like when they're walking in the day or when it's night and you see that fire that's like that car that's burning up. I don't know, just something about those like really cool shots I thought like really hit for me. So
yeah.
Any other kind of shots that you can think of that really stood out to you?
Like, occasionally, like they'll break up the walking with like some shots of like their environment or like people watching.
Yeah.
And it's always something like really bizarre. Like there was like a bird that was hung up.
Yeah.
Or like there was one where like a horse eating like trash. I think it was a bunch of like or like that or like a dead cow.
Yeah.
And when you were talking about a music video, I thought you were gonna bring up those shots because those shots feel like music video shots, kind of just like random. Just like a random assortment of things like to make you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
Like maybe they don't mean anything in the story, but they make you feel something.
Yeah, make you feel a certain way about what's going on. Yeah, dude. I didn't actually pick that up. No, I was thinking more again from the music video side of just like capturing them in motion. I think that's like you're always seeing like people dance and do all this stuff in music videos. So I thought like they kind of nailed that at least in that piece. But good call though on the horses and different things that they showed there. Mr. Rome, that's all I got, man.
All right.
Anything else on your side?
Nah, man. Let's end it.
Well, not yet, my friend.
What?
We got to point it to the audience, man. Anybody that's listening, if you're still here, if you're interested in voicing your opinion, let us know. Do you agree with me and Mr. Rome about our thoughts on The Long Walk? Do you heavily just go against us and say, no, you guys are both wrong. This movie is timeless, and here's why. Let us know in the comments on Spotify and YouTube. Let us know. Leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Send us an email. Let me know your thoughts about The Long Walk. Would love to interact with you guys about this movie even more. Mr. Rome, got to say thanks so much, man. I appreciate you joining me on episode number 150 of the Timeless Movie Podcast. I hope you had a good time doing it. I had fun. I always have fun. You coming back for 155, right?
155.
Here we go, man. That's why I need that confirmation just to make sure, because at the beginning of the episode, you were saying like, hey, I'm in control. I didn't like that.
Exactly, yeah.
So watch out, man. Guys,
you watch out.
Guys, thanks so much again for all those that listened all the way through. This has been episode number 150 of the Timeless Movie Podcast. Make sure to check out next week's episode as we cover a new movie and we decide if it is timeless. All right, everybody. Thanks so much, and I'll talk to you later.